Welcome to the program, everyone. It is so great to be back on the air with you. This is Barbara Howard. I want to welcome you to the show, and I want to also remind you about the program that aired this week on Tuesday with my guest, Nicole of Back to the Roots. If you did not listen to that program, you definitely want to go back and take a listen. We're always hearing about sustainable. We are always hearing about entrepreneurship with our teens. And this young man, he's not a teen, but he did come up with this business idea along with his friend while they were in college. And it's called Back to the Roots is the name of their company. And they provide gourmet mushroom growing kits that you can purchase online. It's a great project for young people, and they have a promotion going on right now. If you purchase one of their gourmet mushroom growing kits and you take a picture and you post it on their Facebook page, they will donate a kit to your school. So you want to take advantage of this promotion right now, and especially now that it's back to school time. And I think it's just a wonderful thing that they're doing. It was a fun interview for me. I always enjoy hearing about the new things that are going on out there, and these guys have got it on the ball. So go back and listen to the archive if you didn't get a chance to do that, or you can go to their website, backtotheroots.com, and just check it out. And they're also, again, on Facebook under Back to the Roots. So I wanted to mention that at the start of the show to give a big plug to those guys. Not that they're paying me to, but just because I think it's a great idea. Also remember that we have the Midnight Munchies podcast on Saturday nights at midnight. So you can always tune in if you're hanging out online at midnight Eastern on Saturday night. It's just a fun place to hang out in the chat room with other fellow foodies. So anyway, this show is about foodies, or the foodie call, or the food blogger roundtable. It has so many different names. But what we do each week is we get together with a couple of people that are passionate about food. They're experts in their areas, whether it's a personal chef or columnist, producer, barbecue competition extraordinaire expert, whatever title you want to give them. But it's been so much fun putting this show together every week at Thursday. We have changed the time. Sometimes it's at 3 p.m., sometimes it's at 7:30 Eastern, because everyone has a different schedule, and I want to give everybody an opportunity to participate a couple times a month. So if you didn't see it live, or if you did not hear it live at 3 p.m., it's because it's at 7:30 p.m. today, but I know you'll listen to the archives. I want to say thank you, while I'm mentioning that, to my archive listeners. So many people, I was talking with a gentleman today who's in radio, and he said the majority of people listen to archives and not to live streaming. And I have found that to be the case with the show. So you archive listeners and you iTunes subscribers out there, thank you so much for listening. And for those who reach out on Twitter, thank you for following me on Twitter. And the handle is The Recipe Box. So as I was saying, the Foodie Call Show, or the Food Blogger Roundtable Show, is an opportunity to meet new people online, bring them on the show, find out all about what they're up to, their projects, their blogs, their companies, their recipes. And the fun thing about it is they have no idea what the cuisine or what the request is going to be. They have no idea what the theme is going to be. Most of the time they have never met each other before. So it's a treat in a lot of ways, and it's great energy. Tonight we have two guests on. We want to give a special shout-out to Rich from Grilling with Rich. He is in a barbecue competition tomorrow, so he is extremely busy right now getting everything prepped and everything set up. So we are thinking positive thoughts, sending good wishes your way, Rich. We know that you're going to nail it tomorrow, and we want to see all the pictures of everything in your trophy or your ribbon or whatever they're going to, side of beef. I don't know what you're going to win, but you're going to win. So we want to wish you the best. And so he won't be on the show tonight, but I have two fabulous ladies on the show tonight. And if you listen to the archives of the previous Foodie calls, you may recall listening to them. But if this is your first time, I'm sure that you're going to visit their websites and you're going to find good information there that, number one, you're going to bookmark them so that you'll go back, or you're going to subscribe so that you're constantly getting updates on their projects and what they're doing. So tonight we're going to introduce my two guests. I have Sheree on and I have Sucheta on, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves to you. I'm opening the mic now. I believe this is 707. Is that you, Sheree? Is this Sucheta?
Yes. Hi, Barbara. How
Hi.
are you?
Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't pre-screen everybody, so I saw 770. I couldn't remember what the area code was. But anyway, welcome to the program. Why don't you share with everyone, tell everyone about Go Eat Give and what you do over there.
Great. Thank you so much for having me once again. So I am based in Atlanta, and I'm a cooking instructor, restaurant reviewer, and freelance writer for different magazines around the country. My website is goeatgive.com, which is also a movement where I'm encouraging people to learn about different cultures through food and travel and community service. So instead of just being a tourist in a different foreign country, I encourage you to try out the local food, volunteer in the community, learn from the locals like I do, and get to taste some of their native cuisine.
Now, how often do you travel?
You know, I don't travel as much internationally, but right now I'm doing a lot of local trips, and I'm traveling almost every week. Okay. My goal is to see the entire world, so I figured if I can do 7 countries in a year, that would take me through the next 30 years.
Well, that's amazing. I was on your site today, and my nephew and his family just moved to Toronto. So, of course, I was Toronto, Canada, so, of course, I was clicking on the links to see what I could recommend for them while they're there.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Toronto is a great city, a lot of international food, a lot of different kinds of fresh cuisine, and a lot of celebrity chefs are also based out of Toronto.
Well, I appreciate your website that it gives me a chance to, since I'm not there in a lot of these different countries, it gives me a peek into the culture. One thing on the front on the post that you have up today, something about veggie burgers at McDonald's. So they have a totally different menu when you go to India or different countries.
That's true. So I asked one of my friends who's a vegetarian, and she has a blog about eating vegetarian cuisine. I asked her what's her dilemma when she travels, and one of it is she can't find healthy, good vegetarian food being on the road. So I grew up in India till I was 17, and I could walk into McDonald's or Burger King or even a Kentucky Fried Chicken and get something vegetarian, like a veggie burger, which is made typically with potato patties or cottage cheese, which is unheard of in the United States or even in a lot of Western countries. I looked for it in New Zealand and Australia. They didn't have it either. So I guess they adapt to the culture that they go into.
I never heard of that. I had no idea that they did that. If I had not seen it on your website, I wouldn't know that there was such a thing at McDonald's. When we think of McDonald's, we think of Big Mac and fries.
Right. India, they call it the Maharaja, which is a double veggie patty.
Ah, okay. How about that? Very interesting, very interesting. So everyone, you want to go to goeatgive.com and learn about the different cuisines, not our Americanized version of the food, but what is actually being served in the native countries, actually in the countries. And if you're going to be traveling, a lot of people who are taking cruises and going on travel, that's a good place to stop first to get an idea what it's going to be like when you get there. So I'm going to open the mic now for, I know I've got it this time because I've only got one more line open, for Sheree. Hi, Sheree. How are you?
Hi, Barbara. How are you?
Doing great. Tell everyone about Cuisine Noir and what's going on over there.
Thank you. So Cuisine Noir is a online food, wine, and travel, soon to be print as of next month. So we're excited to release our first issue. Yes. And so our main focus is from a cultural standpoint to where we showcase a lot of African American chefs, vintners, travel professionals, et cetera, around the world. And so you can check us out at cuisinenoirmag.com. And so we're just tirelessly working on the print issue that hopefully everyone will enjoy. We got some great stories, some great recipes in there, and just continue to see what's going on. And it's interesting that you said that your brother moved to Toronto because we've really started to connect with the chefs up there. We'll be starting to feature chefs from Toronto starting in September. So we have one in our online issue and then one in print. So we're excited to bring a correspondent on board from Toronto who's going to keep us up to date on the Toronto scene. So
it's a fabulous food town, isn't it? And we treat it like it's a foreign country, but it's really not. I mean, it was just right around the corner.
Exactly. So no, I definitely agree. We're just trying to get out, and we try to just show different perspectives of foods to our readers, and the main thing is getting them out of their comfort zone. So
now, when you go print, this is a big deal. This is not a small thing. Is this something that people can go to your website and subscribe to, or is it going to be in the local? Go ahead.
Well, what we're going to do, sorry, Barbara, it will be available online, and we're going to print seasonally. So we'll have our fall, winter coming out, and then shoot for spring in March. And so you can order a copy online, and then also we are the culinary sponsor for the travel and adventure shows. And we're coming to Atlanta, too, so that's going to be exciting. And so all of the, you can pick them up at the shows as well, and then any other events that we may attend, and then, of course, get them online, all while supplies last. So.
Okay, so if they run into you guys at one of the big events, you'll have copies there.
Definitely.
Okay, fantastic. And where at in Atlanta? Do you have the location?
We are going to be at the Cobb Galleria. It's the big travel and adventure show that will be there October 22nd and 23rd.
Okay, all of my Atlanta foodies out there, make sure you mark that on your calendars. You don't want to miss that. And I want to see a copy of the magazine. Are you going to have, you have the cover and everything up on your website yet? I haven't peeked.
Not yet. We haven't. We'll probably show a sneak peek with our release of our September online issue. But it's going to be pretty exciting, and we got a nice, exciting chef that I think everybody knows and loves. So we get to learn a little bit more about him that I think you'll be surprised. So.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. A little teaser.
Exactly. I think he is nicely known from your shows and nice on the eyes.
Okay. I need to log in over here and see if I can get a preview. I'm trying to see if I can peek in the back door and see what that's about. That's okay. That's okay. All right, ladies. So as I mentioned at the start, Rich is not going to be on with us today. We are rooting for him to make I want to say blue ribbon. I don't know what you get in a barbecue competition. I know, like Betty Crocker, you get a blue ribbon when you bake a cake. But whatever they're going to give them, a trophy or whatever, we're just rooting for you, Rich, and we know that you're going to bring home the trophy and the barbecue sauce or whatever it is they're going to give you. I saw pictures of some of the things that he's been working on, I guess, the different meat that he selected and the rub and all of this other kind of stuff. I mean, this is big time stuff. So I wish him well with that. So we're going to get an update from him next week about what that competition was like. I think I would love to be at one and get to taste everything, but I don't think I would want to go through the anxiety and everything that it takes to actually compete. I don't know if I could take it. But anyway, so tonight we're going to have Sucheta and we'll have Sheree, and tonight's theme is, are you ready?
Yeah.
It is number, what was the random number? 16 on the list, and 16 is berry picking party. you don't really have to be a berry picking party, but let's come up with ideas incorporating different types of summer fruits and berries. How's that?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I saw recipes for blackberries. It was like 17 recipes for blackberries. I'm like, got that. I love blackberries. So anyway, so that's our theme today is berries, fruits, berries, summer fruits, berries. Alrighty, so let's start with, we're going in alphabetical order, but you're both S names. So Sheree, well, your first initial is V, but you go by Sheree, right?
I do go by Sheree, yes.
Okay, so we'll stick with that. So Sheree, we'll start with you. I was giving you an out. Okay,
nope,
so
I know, right?
we'll stick with that, and we'll start with you for beverages. And what would you start with for a beverage?
I'm going to start with a smoothie. I'm going to start with I love your blackberry. Probably pop in maybe a couple of raspberries.
Okay.
And then probably pop in just a hint of strawberry and just make a really nice smoothie. So that's what I would start off with.
And smoothies are so good, especially when it's hot.
Exactly. And I put just a little bit. I usually make my smoothies with the fruit, just maybe a little bit of yogurt in there, and and some juice. But I try to make sure the juice doesn't contain a lot of sugar because I try to keep it as natural as possible. And then just blend that up.
Well, speaking of McDonald's, we're going to come to Sucheta, but they have really brought in a lot of smoothie drinks, a lot of fruit drinks recently. So
I don't know. I have their raspberry smoothie, and I have to say it is pretty good.
See, they're bringing fruit in. I was thinking, I hope it's not full of syrup, but I think it's just fruit and ice. I really do, but I don't know. But speaking of McDonald's and smoothies, all right. Sucheta, what would you start with for a beverage?
Well, it's funny you say that because I had a berry picking party last month when it was berry season in Georgia, in North Georgia. So me and my friends, we went to this farm in North Georgia where this guy, he owns the farm, he's retired, and he lets you pick as many blueberries as you want. He charges you about $5 per gallon. But the best part is all the money is donated towards helping children in Belarus who have been affected by all their nuclear waste and the energies over there.
Wow. What is the name?
The name of the farm?
Yes.
Let me see. I have it on my website. I can pull it up in 1 second. But one of the drinks, well, I came back with 2 gallons of blueberries, so I was experimenting for about a week on what to come up with blueberry recipes. So I'm going to be all blueberry tonight.
Okay.
And the farm is called Roland Farms, Roland, Roland Farms.
Okay.
And you can even go to my website and find it. But he has blueberries all through summer, all the way till September. So they're different kinds, and you can go and pick as many as you want. So, yeah, let me come back to the drink you proposed. So, again, going back to my heritage in India, we had this rose-flavored drink called Roo Afza, which I grew up drinking. And a lot of people who are from the Middle East, from Northern Asia, around that area would be familiar with it. It's basically rose syrup that you add either to water or milk, and you drink it in summer afternoons. So I was inspired by that, and I came up with a drink called Blue Afza, which is, I made it with reducing blueberries, sugar, orange juice, lemon juice, and some Splenda, just to keep it a little bit healthy and light. And at the end, I ordered some soda water, club soda or soda water to it to have a nice sizzle. So it's like the perfect summer refreshing drink, plus it's good for you.
How much of the fruit, is it just a very light taste of the fruit, or is it very fruity, like a smoothie would be? I would really taste the fruit in the smoothie. In this, would it be a very light fruit flavor, or how do you have that?
It is. Actually, it uses, every serving uses about a cup of blueberries, but then it's cooked down, so you don't really, it's not a smoothie kind of texture. It's very light, and it has a lot of water and club soda in it, so it's thinned out a lot.
Okay.
The recipe is also
really
on my website.
It's on your website? Okay, because I'm all over your website right now. You said you have blueberries. I'm like, okay, I'm there. Okay, that sounds good. Okay. And now for the appetizer or salad, what would you suggest there, Sheree?
So I am big on salads, and during summer especially, I like to mix my salads with my fruit. And so what I would do is a nice spring mix with adding on some fruit. So I would do some apples, probably toast some walnuts, and then add, again, I love blackberries similar to yourself, and some strawberries, and then maybe do a nice raspberry vinaigrette. So I'm all about the berries. So I would do a nice salad and adding some of the berries on there.
Okay. All right. And I know if my grilling guys would be here, they would say, and grill the apples or grill the fruit, you know.
Ooh, that would be
grilled
good.
fruit is awesome, isn't it? Okay.
It is, especially pineapple.
Yeah. All righty. And Sucheta, what would you suggest for appetizer or salad?
Oh, so for an appetizer, I came up with a fried ravioli, which you can pick up with your hands and eat it. It's crispy, it's not oily, and it goes around really well as a finger food too. And I stuffed my ravioli with blueberries and mascarpone. But you can also use strawberry, you can use blackberry, whatever berries that you want to contrast with. But I add some mascarpone cheese into it. So it's kind of a savory dish because it's flour and it's salty, but then it's sweet inside. So it can go either way. You can serve it as a appetizer, like a sweet appetizer, or you can even serve it at the end if you wanted to do like a savory dessert.
That sounds awesome. I would have never thought of using blueberries in a fried ravioli.
It tastes heavenly.
What was that? Was that Sheree? Yeah, I know. Had you thought of that? I had never thought of that.
No, not at all.
Very good. I love new ideas. Okay. Because now, of course, I'm thinking, what else could I do? Great idea.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's finger foods. Okay. Fantastic. All righty. And so now we're going back. Did you have anything that you wanted to add to that, Sheree, or are you good with
No, that's great. You know, I was just thinking, too, you could maybe do, and this is just playing around. I don't know how it would work, but maybe if you did like a little berry sort of bruschetta in a sense, so just chopping up some of the berries, and then maybe eating them on it depends on what type of bread or cracker. I'm playing around with new ideas in my head as well. So that might be another one to think about too. We'll have to play around with that.
Okay, good idea.
Can I add something? So another salad that I typically make is a mixed green, like Sheree suggested, but I add blueberry, tangerine, strawberries, and goat cheese, and then finally top it with some sliced almonds. So it has a whole thing of crunchy, creamy, savory, tart, everything going for you. And I just use some balsamic vinegar and olive oil to dress it up so that all the flavors still pop out.
Yeah.
That does sound good.
Are these recipes on your blog? Can we find these over there and Go Eat Give?
Most of them are. I don't think the salad is on there, but the blueberry mascarpone ravioli is on there.
Okay. All right. We want to bookmark that one. All right. And moving on to our main dish or main course and incorporating berries in that. What do you think, Sheree?
I would probably go with maybe a skirt steak, maybe, and then I'm just playing around with doing some type of maybe a raspberry reduction sauce on top of that, just playing around.
Okay.
But that is what I'm thinking off the top of my head. And then I'm trying to think for the side. I'm trying to think of, like, what vegetable would go well with the berries, mixing the berries in there. Can't think of anything off the top of my head, but a sauce is always easy to make with any type of berry or anything like that. So I'm going to think for a second on what my aside could be that I would like to. I don't know. I'm trying to think in my head if you could do a slaw, any type of like a coleslaw, and add in a couple of berries. I know when I do mine, I add in apples and grapes and almonds. But I'm like, could you change that into adding some berries in there? I don't know how that would taste. I have to experiment with that.
Okay.
But definitely, like I said, a nice skirt steak with a raspberry reduction sauce I would do. Add it with a little bit of white wine in there, mixing in that.
Okay. Finally, someone mentioned alcohol. No one mentioned it at the beverage. What show was it? We did the show, and everyone was all over the, oh, yes, we're going to have vodka and our watermelons and all, just, it was funny. But today, everyone.
So bring it back. You could do a great sangria. My sangria.
No one mentioned alcohol. No one mentioned wine. Okay. All righty. And Sucheta, what would you suggest for the main course?
For my main course, I have a Northern African-inspired dish, which is a puff pastry filled with meat and blueberry chutney. I used ground lamb. You can even use turkey if you prefer, or ground goat meat. Lamb is really easy to find in grocery stores these days, and it's also commonly used in Northern African dishes. Mm-hmm. So I bought store-bought phyllo and then put raw ground lamb inside, and I prepared the chutney with a variety of spices: cumin, coriander, garam masala, cloves, allspice, cinnamon. So I let that cook for about half an hour till I have a really nice, flavorful, dense chutney. And I put it over the lamb, spooned it a little bit inside it, and then I closed it off with my phyllo and just baked it in the oven for about 40 minutes or so till it's nice and golden brown. And it's something different you can serve. It's almost, French, Northern African kind of inspired. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people would not even think about pairing berries with lamb and phyllo, for an entree. So it really pops out when people get it on the plate.
I'm trying to imagine what that tastes like. Are the berries,
Well, the berries are spicy because I've added different spices. So the berries like sweet and spicy, tangy flavor to it, and that goes really well with contrasting against a nice lamb ground, meat, which is hearty and it has a lot of texture, and you don't want to overcook the meat, otherwise it will be too chewy.
Mhm. Because Sheree you like lamb, if I recall, right?
I was just thinking lamb and berries would be great together. I was just thinking that.
Yeah, because I recall that as on a previous show you mentioned grilled lamb chops, I think, is one of your favorites. Okay. Well, there's a new flavor combo for you.
Exactly. I was thinking those two, that would be a great combo together.
And there's always an opportunity, whenever there's an opportunity, I should say it this way, to try new spice mixes. I'm all for that. I think that we could get rid of a lot of this high-sodium business in our diets if we really would just have more fun blending our own spice mixes. So
I think so, too.
Yeah.
And I was just saying, I don't know, I don't think you could ever stop creating recipes. I mean, it's just endless out there when you think about everything that you can put together.
Right,
Absolutely.
exactly.
And that was my whole week of experimenting with different flavors of just using a single ingredient but tying it into different courses and coming up with inspired by different cuisines around the world too.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I was thinking, that you don't have to just go by the old cookbook that were passed down from generation to generation in your family. You can get inspiration from anywhere now, and especially with the Internet and all these great food blogs out there, you can always get a new twist on something like the blueberry. Pairing blueberry with spices and making chutneys and all these other great things to go with grilled meats or meat pies or things like that. Good idea. Good idea. All right, so now we're moving on. What's next? We've got our main course, so how about a side? What were you thinking? Sheree, have you come up with something?
No.
Oh.
But I did come up with something different that I think will be great. And I think it's probably already done already, but still can maybe put a different twist on it, is a nice berry crepe.
Oh.
That would be, I think, playing around with those a little bit more. I would love to experiment with that. So that would be, I'm just thinking of some different things that I would throw the berries on. So that's something I came up with, but my side, I'm stumbling.
Do you need to call a lifeline?
I know, I am. I should.
That's okay. All right, Sucheta, do you have well, it's kind of not really fair because Sucheta's been buried in berries for a month now or so.
I know, they're like fresh.
Yeah, she's on her A game today. What would you have for a side, Sucheta?
Well, what I've served in a lot of brunches and lunch sides is basically just chopped up strawberries mixed with lemon juice, a little bit of sugar, and I let it sit for about half an hour till the strawberries sweat, and then I just toss them in the sugar and the lemon juice, and it's really nice. It's very light. I really like to serve it for like brunch or lunch, because it can either be a side, but it can also cross over where you don't have to serve dessert. They already have something a little bit sweeter on their plate, too.
Oh, okay. All right. And I am retweeting the link to the lamb and blueberry chutney recipe. Thank you for sharing that. Yay. So we're going to send that out, and I'm going to put a couple hashtags on here so that people can find it a little easier. There we go. Fantastic. And there you go, Sheree. It's a lamb and blueberry chutney recipe. I know she's going to be on it. Okay, great. And now moving on to dessert. And this is, fruit, desserts, they kind of go together anyway. So what are you suggesting? So many things to choose from, Sheree. What do you suggest?
So years ago, a friend has an ice cream machine, and we really did experiment. I think we would be better now. Hopefully she's perfected it, but blueberry ice cream.
Oh. Okay.
It was. We were experimenting. It was, it was the first time with the ice cream maker. So, but, it was good, but I think hopefully if we went back and perfected that a little bit more, it would have been fantastic. So I would play around with making some homemade blueberry ice cream.
Okay. All righty.
That is so funny you say that, because I was going to blueberry honey gelato.
Ooh.
Oh. I don't know if I've muted myself. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Can you hear my dog barking? All of a sudden, I apologize, everyone. We've got a lot of construction going on, and they rerouted traffic, and so life is just a little crazy here right now. But gelato, that's what I thought of. That's what I thought you were going to say, Sheree, when you said you got the ice cream maker. And, okay. So, Sucheta, what are you going to suggest for dessert?
Well, that's what I made. Actually,
Okay.
I Italian get-together, and I decided I'll use some of the blueberries that I'd collected to make the blueberry honey gelato. And the reason I added honey to it is because the kind of the berries I used were not very, very sweet. They were a little tart, but the honey adds a really nice flavor to it. So I still use some sugar for the base, but then when I put the base into the ice cream machine, the gelato base, then I add a 4th cup of honey, and it really brings out the flavor to something which would have been really ordinary. It takes it to the next level. But I think you can do the same thing using any different kinds of berries. You can even use strawberry. If you do a strawberry gelato, add a spoon balsamic to it, and that's going to cut through the sweetness and add another layer of flavoring, another dimension to it. Or you could even mix different kinds of berries, and a lot of, you go to these Italian places in Italy, the gelato places, they do something which is called a mixed berry gelato. So you can do 3, 4 different kinds of berries all into one rich, flavorful gelato great for the summer.
Now, how much fun would that be to do with the kids, to just come up with different combinations of berry flavors and make your own? That would be yummy. Because no matter what you do, it's going to taste good, really.
And think you are getting some servings of fruit in there.
Exactly. And I think just about any fruit flavor combination is going to taste good, and you know it's going to be healthy. So that's a wonderful idea and something to do with the kids. I know we used to make ice cream together too, just like you said, Sheree. You're like, well, we didn't really know what we were doing, but it was fun, and we ate it.
Exactly.
We thought it was perfect.
Exactly. And, just keeping it, whether it's boring or definitely old school, but I have to say I'm a big, big fan of homemade blueberry muffins. That was my favorite, my absolute favorite. So, and not the ones that you get at the Starbucks. I think they add a little extra stuff in there. But when you make your own, those are always my favorite. So,
has anyone come up with or experimented with different flavored honeys when you're baking or when you're making desserts?
I have tried a few different kinds of honeys, and I feel like a sour wood is probably one of my favorites when I'm using it raw, when I'm not cooking with it. But when I'm cooking, then clover is a little bit stronger flavor.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it definitely depends on what honey you use, depending on what dish you're trying to make.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I was thinking that when you mentioned the gelato, because I would think that you would really be able to tell the difference in something like that.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So I also wanted to point out another recipe I had was for whole wheat blueberry muffins. I make this for breakfast sometimes because I want to still be able to eat healthy, but then I love my muffins, I love my pastries and my cakes. So I used a whole wheat flour instead of regular flour, and I didn't use sugar. I used honey instead. So you can find the recipe on the website, but it's a little bit of a nicer twist, and it still tastes delicious.
Wow.
Using whole wheat, yeah.
Yes.
Good idea. And I love blueberry muffins, too. That between the blueberry or the orange cranberry, those are the ones that I always look for. Yeah, I know. It's one of those things like I can't do this every day, but if I walk by a bakery and they have them, I have to buy it.
Exactly.
I have to buy them.
And like you said, fruit is so great, especially berries when it comes to any type of dessert. I mean, you just can't go wrong.
No. Well, we have 5 minutes left, so I want to, first of all, thank you for participating. And I know, Sheree, that you didn't have berries at the top of your list, but you never know what it's going to be, and I think you're just such a great sport being on the show. And Sucheta, thank you so much. I'm so glad that you had all of these great recipes and that you've been sending me the links, and I've been sending them out on Twitter. So, again, you're a great sport for participating and sharing your expertise, both of you, so much. And it's not an easy thing to go on the air and go like, what can I serve with on a romantic date night that so it's not the easiest thing to come up with ideas. And like I said, I was speaking with someone that's been in the radio industry for over 30 years, and he said, where'd you get this concept from? I said, you know what? It was the beginning of the summer. You're just throwing ideas around. And he said, I love that. I said, I know. Isn't it great? We really tip our hat to you guys for coming on the show. So give out your information again. I'll start with Sheree. Give us the updates again where you're going to be. Give out the website information and how they can get your new magazine and when it's going to be available.
Sure. So Cuisine Noir, you can go online at cuisinenoirmag.com, and the print issue should be released toward the end of September. It will be available online and then at our travel and adventure show spots that we're going to. First stop is Atlanta, then Dallas, New York, Chicago, L.A., San Francisco, and D.C., so we're excited about that. And also you can check out daily information on our blog, The Culinary Scoop, and we give a lot of great information in terms of what's going on in the industry, promotions, any type of casting calls, etc. So definitely want to check that out, and that's at theculinaryscoop.com.
Fantastic. And definitely check that out. We have a lot of people out there that are extremely creative and talented, and here's an opportunity to hit those casting calls, and maybe we'll see you in the next Cuisine Noir. What is the name of the magazine? Is it Cuisine Noir? Is that the name of the
magazine? The magazine is Cuisine Noir, and
okay.
Actually the casting calls are for whether it's Top Chef, it's Food Network, or whatever the case may be. So it's casting calls from various directors around the country.
Right. We may see you next on the cover for being the next big thing happening out there. So you never know. You just never know. In America, anybody could be on television at any moment, or YouTube at least. Okay, fantastic. And Sucheta, give out your information.
My website is goeatgive.com, as in if you were to travel, eat, and volunteer around the world. I'm going to continue to write about different places that I'm visiting in the next few weeks. And if you want any ideas for recipes, send me an email. My contact information is on there. I'm also going to be on TV this Sunday night, so watch me on NBC.
What show?
It's Sunday night at 10 o'clock, and it's called The Marriage Chef, and I'm going to be talking about how I've been traveling around the world.
Oh, my God.
Great.
How cool.
Congratulations.
Yay. And I get to tell everybody, I just talked to her. This is going to be so much fun. Congratulations on that. How did you nail that? How did you happen to? You were just walking down the street and somebody said, hey, why don't you come on TV? How did that work for you?
Well, it wasn't that easy. I wrote in and I told them the story about how my goal is to see 200 countries before I die, and I'm going to go whether or not my husband likes it or not, or whether he has enough vacation days to come with me. So they thought that I was crazy or really cool, and they wanted me on there.
Well, we think you're really cool, don't we, Sheree?
We sure do.
Fantastic. Well, we will be on the lookout for that. And everybody, I'm interested to see. It's already been recorded, right? So you already know.
Yeah. It's
okay.
going to air this Sunday night at 10 o'clock.
Okay. So you already know what happened. So we're all going to tune in. We're all going to tune in and see. fantastic. So go to Cuisine Noir, CuisineNoirmag.com. I needed to spell that out. And go eat give, just like it sounds, .com. Check out these two ladies. Make sure you subscribe so that you know they're always busy. Every time they come on the air with me, they've got something new and exciting going on. So thanks again, ladies, for being on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Have a great night.
You too. Thanks, Barbara. Bye, Sucheta.
Well, that's another show, everyone. I want to thank you so much for listening. Make sure you follow us. So just click on the button for follow. You'll be able to stay up to date on everything that's going on with the program. Also, stop by the website, therecipeboxshow.com, and subscribe. We have giveaways almost every week over there, so you definitely want to stay in touch with us. Follow me on Twitter, @therecipebox. Have a great night. Bye-bye.